Hello, 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 and welcome to Macca in Your Attic, a Paul and Nothing spin-off show where the guest always shows me their junk. Yes, this is a regular feature here on this YouTube page. I'm glad to be back to chat about the Mac. Shortly, we're going to go through my guest's attic and sift through the tit and the tat to find the primo McCartney memorabilia. We're going to see 5 uniquely interesting, fun, strange, and sentimental items, hopefully, from their own Paul McCartney / Beatles collection, each with their own unique story. They bloody well better. Anyway, be sure to hit up the Patreon page for access to loads of episodes still in the can, and hit me up at paulmccartneypod@gmail.com or on Twitter at McCartneypod if you ever feel like saying hi. Today, everyone, I'm continuing my exploration into the world of collectors on Instagram who do nothing but inspire the fiercest of jealousies in my soul. You can see my guest already. He has a vinyl collection that is making me blush and turn green simultaneously. I've been following his page for a while now. His name is Vinyl Benji. Vinyl Benji, what's going on, brother?
Hello, my friends. This is Vinyl Benji. Dude, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here to talk all things McCartney, because that's something I do in real life a lot anyway.
Much to the dismay of all of your friends and family, I am sure. Like, whenever
they tolerate it. They tolerate it, you know.
You ever find though that, like, if you're discussing like a musical movement or something that happens, you know, like say your friends have a Blink 182 album on, and you go, well, actually, McCartney did something like that back in 1986 on Press, and they just go like, oh, Sam, please stop, please. No,
that would be hilarious. But
I'm just trying to think of like "Miss You," but sung by McCartney. Where are you? And I'm so sorry, cannot sleep. You know, no. Let's.
You know, there was one time back with the Beatles, I couldn't sleep. You know, and
what is my age again? Sorry.
Nowadays I don't do that. Nowadays I try to learn more about newer modern artists, because I am trying to expand my music taste, and being Vinyl Benji has actually helped me with that quite a lot. Because, well, let me just say this: there are some albums that came out this year that I legit cannot get enough of, and that would have never happened to me a few years ago. But older me probably would have tried to find a way to work in the Beatles and stuff like that.
Well, no, I mean, this year I had a Grammy Award-winning album on vinyl, St. Vincent's Daddy's Home, and I was like, I've got a current popular album on vinyl. I'm mature now. And then I immediately went out and bought 2 more copies of Chobber. You know, it's very hard to break out of these cycles, baby steps, that kind of thing. But let me just say thank you so much for coming on. I admire your collection so much. You're definitely one of those people that I'm concerned whether they have a will and a fire extinguisher or not. I hope you have at least one of those things.
I have a father who is an attorney that writes wills, so I'm in good hands.
No, that is
seriously, that's what he does.
That is awesome. Maybe he can work out mine. Yeah. To Tom Hunyadi, I leave my copies of so and so.
Well, he's an American lawyer whose license is in New York, so I don't know if he can help you specifically, but maybe he knows someone who can.
Hey, you know, I always need an Eastman in my life. You know, there is always room for one of them. But you know what? Chitter chatter aside, niceties pushed to the side for the moment. Let us discuss the $600 elephant in the room. Dude,
oh my God, yeah.
You're a collector. What do you think of the recently announced Paul McCartney The Singles box set that is coming out December 2nd to an online store near you? And are you going to be picking up a copy for yourself?
It looks fantastic. Unfortunately, I don't think I'll be able to pick up a copy for myself as much as I really want to. It's a lot of money. I'm unemployed right now, and there's plenty of things that I have spent a lot of money on recently that are coming, like the Monkees headquarters box set's coming, the Beach Boys Holland, and Carl and the Passions box. And, you know, there's some other things that I spent a lot of money on, and look, $600 is still a lot. And there's some really solid singles in there, some that have never been on vinyl before. There's one single, you know, some of like the Beatles set they did a few years ago. Some of the single artwork and designs are based off how they were released in other countries. And I did see one of them is based off the version released in Israel. I'm Jewish and I used to live in Israel. I do have some records from Israel, one of which I will show later. So that's something I would have loved to have had. And not to mention, like some have never been released on vinyl, like Find My Way. That's my favorite song on McCartney 3. Having that as a single would have been
Love is
awesome.
Strange, a proposed single. It wasn't, you know what I mean?
Wait, I didn't know a proposed single. That's rad. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
See, I'm still
backed with I Am Your Singer, one of my deepest cut fan favorites. Oh my god, I Am Your Singer, You Are My Song. How can you not fall in love with that song? Come on, it's easy enough.
I do not understand. Look, you see, the fact that I didn't know that was a proposed single, there's so many singles in that box, I could not analyze them all so deeply. It's huge.
And we've got Driving Rain stuff that was never on vinyl, new stuff that was never on vinyl. It's a good chance for me to catch up on those Egypt Station ones that I never got the first time around. The Women and Wives one is in there. So
I do have that 12-inch one, so I'm very excited. There's really a lot, and there are some songs that have never been available for streaming. Summer 59 I'm excited about that one. That's a song that my friend Brooke likes vinyl. I believe she just got it on vinyl, and she was telling me about it.
Is that the Jenny Wren B-side off the top of my head?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Take that, two legs. I'm smart. Yeah. No, this is one of the biggest releases of the year. It's going to completely shit all over the McCartney 1, 2, 3 box set. That was a bit of a flop, in my opinion. I've got a copy just over here. People can check out my video on the Patreon. My copy came damaged, bent, inner sleeves were torn, fingerprints all over the McCartney 1 in it. I'm trying to brush that aside. I might sell it just to get this new singles box set, actually. And there is a payment plan. There's a payment plan. So
I saw that, and I did consider that too. But like I said, I'm still unemployed at the moment, and I tend to like to buy things right off the bat. I don't like to have payment plans because I just want to be paid and done with it. That's just how I roll. My friend just ordered it. I'm just gonna have to live vicariously through him, and see which test single he gets. See if he gets any splinters from the wooden box itself. You never know.
I mean, let's just have the conversation that everyone wants us to have. Of course, we are in the middle of one of the biggest global recessions ever. I'm sure the phrase cost of living crisis is over in the States as well as it is over here. I mean, a George Harrison fan, you might say, is a little more bespoke and perhaps more willing to spend £1,000 on some gnomes for their garden, for example. Is the release of, a $600 box set like this a little gauche or inappropriate now, to say the least?
I wouldn't necessarily say it's inappropriate. I mean, I live a very comfortable life. I still live at home with my parents. I've always been very fortunate in financial wise and family wise. I have a wonderful family. I can't speak for other people who haven't had it as well as I've had it. That being said, there's still plenty of people out there who could afford it, and vinyl is huge, and people will find a way to get that if they really want it.
Nice pun there.
I know.
I mean, I guess this is a funny point for me in my podcasting and vinyl collecting career, because when I first started, the Sgt. Pepper box set came out, and I was skint back then. I didn't have a Patreon, for example. I was like, I was a very Marxist, proletariat. This is too expensive. Tear down MPL, tear down Apple. And then with the Let It Be box set and the Revolver box set, my fans have essentially bought them for me. And all of a sudden, I really enjoyed them. I really liked them. Yeah, this is great value for money. Now, McCartney's trying to push my hand. He's trying to call my bluff. I feel it's like, well, do you reckon someone will be able to afford a $600 box set? And now I'm at the point where I'm like, is this my Christmas and birthday present off all the family put together in one big pool? It might have to be, and with a payment plan as well. I mean, it's completely about perspective and where you are in your life. I know that this was a conversation had around the time of the Got Back tour. Apparently, over in the States, there were tickets supposedly for thousands and thousands of dollars, but the more really research you... Well, yeah, but if you did the research, like someone lost it, those were the front row seats. The majority of seats were just in the couple of $100 range. I mean, the real price in America was having to drive 9 hours because there's not an interstate train transit system. That seems to be the biggest expenditure on parking and getting a hotel, that kind of thing.
Where do I begin? There's so much here. With the box set, I have a few options. The single I was talking about that was inspired by a version made in Israel. I can always either find the original, perhaps.
Mhm.
In the case of the ones that are newly pressed on vinyl, someone's going to get this box and sell these individually.
Oh, they're going to make so much money.
Right. So maybe I have my luck with that. Who knows?
Yeah.
Get the couple that I want and call it a day.
I'm just hoping that maybe if I don't get it, it'll bring down the cost of the Women and Wives 12-inch on YouTube, on eBay as well.
That'd be nice, yeah.
Yes, because it's still floating around the £30, $45 mark. I'm like, come on, bring it down at 18 for Sammy Boy. Come on, and then I'll snap one up. Mostly for the St. Vincent B-side. That was definitely one of the stronger ones off McCartney 3 Imagined, Reimagined, however you want to say it. Also, I can't let Tom Hunyadi have both the Egypt Station suitcase and then this as well to lord over me. Though, if he does get it, it'll be a great reason to have him back on the show. I'm going to get content out of this either way, bro. No, whether I get it, whether I don't, I will make the content. But, with the news out of the way, we can get into my sort of standard set of questions. When did you first get into the Beatles? When did you first get into McCartney, and when did the memorabilia and vinyl start coming into the picture?
Great question, actually. And let me just quickly find the record that started it all. 1 second.
I love it when people go off camera to get stuff.
No, because I just didn't know how I
no, it's always funny.
The McCartney records are all
off camera.
All behind the camera right there. You could cut this part out if you believe.
No, this is staying in. This is the primo content that people come for. Oh my gosh. I'll show everyone this little
here it is.
pangolin that's on my desk right now.
So got it. All right, here we go. Sorry about that.
What do we got?
I'll get there. I've been to the Beatles my whole life. I have very distinct memories of just being introduced to Beatles by my parents when I was really little. I was just telling someone about this the other day. My earliest memory, I think I remember seeing Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds in the shower when I was like really young. The Beatles have always been my favorite band. I was turned on to them from an early age, and I was always really into their music. And I pretty much knew every song when I was really young. The last song I really had to get to know was Long, Long, Long from the White Album. But eventually I learned that one too.
My last song was a Harrison one as well. Old Brown Shoe was like the last one I had to get into. Yeah.
It was just the one song that I still consider Long, Long, Long to be probably one of the deepest Beatle cuts ever. Like no one really knows that song.
Yeah.
At least as far as I know. Anyway, so I've been to the Beatles my whole life. I saw the Beatles Love not long after that show started, but it wasn't until the Beatles remasters that I started to understand it better. Think of it this way. There were albums that were made for the US and the British albums, American albums. Before 2009, I didn't really know the differences between those two. Like we had the British albums on our iTunes, but we also had the American albums. We had the Capitol box set, which is in the shelf over there actually. But once 2009 came, I started to be like, oh yeah, these were made in Britain. These were the American ones. Like I started to understand and learn more about the specific albums, the releases, more about their history than I had ever knew. Granted, I already knew most of their music before that. Mm-hmm. As for my first record, which is this one, Freeze a Bird. And this is the record. It's a story I've told many times on my Instagram, and I won't stop telling it. It's just an amazing story. Essentially, back in 2009, actually, I had learned that Freeze a Bird, Real Love, and the Baby It's You EP that was released in promotion for BBC and Anthology 1 and 2 had bonus tracks, none of which were ever made available for streaming, or none of them were ever put on iTunes. They were all single exclusives. And I wanted one. I ordered, with my parents' help, on Amazon. This was before Prime existed. I ordered the Freeze a Bird CD because it had 3 extra bonus tracks. And it took a few weeks. This was May 2009, the same month as my birthday. Waited a few weeks and I got the package. I opened it. I was so excited. And I took this thing out. And I was like, wait a minute, this is a record. And at first I was like, this isn't right. I wasn't really like, at the first glance, I was like, I'm not sure. But then the more I thought about it, the more excited I was. Oh, cool, I have a record. Because even before that, there were times where I tried to ask my parents to take out their old records for me so I could look at them and take a sneak peek at them and see what kind of music they had. So even before then, I was kind of interested in records, but never back then did I think I would be collecting them. My record collection started by accident. And it was one of the best accidents, best crazy things that ever happened to me in my life.
That's so fucking cool. That's so awesome. Quick question before it leaves my mind. Do you know which versions of the albums there were available in Israel? Was it the British or the American?
I believe the British. I do have an Israeli copy of Magical Mystery Tour and a British copy of Sgt. Pepper. The British copy of Magical Mystery Tour, I'm sorry, the Israeli copy of Magical Mystery Tour uses the same, I believe the same cutting because it has the same number, the same numbers in the inner grooves. I forgot that's the actual term for it for a second, as that famous early 70s all stereo German pressing.
Oh, okay.
Fascinating stuff.
That's cool.
But it uses the British albums, I believe, for the most part.
Weirdly enough, whenever I go on Chartable, the website that tells me how and where my downloads are coming from worldwide, I'm always in the music commentary top 10 for Israel. I'm like, yes, I love that.
I love it.
Yeah, just like I've never made any reference to it. Netanyahu has never answered my emails about coming on the show, but
he's busier now. He just got reelected, so
yeah. No, he's busy speaking with Jordan Peterson and Ben Shapiro at the moment for some reason. Israel humor on the show, folks. You never thought you'd see that. There we go.
I love it because sometimes I'll mention it and I'll just get a lot of hate and anti-Semitism and shit like that.
Oh no, you should come here to the UK. We had a whole party that basically lost an election because of it. No, yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, fortunately, anti-Semitism isn't in the news at all or in popular culture right now. No one's talking about it. There aren't major musical figures related to McCartney who are discussing it or anything. That's the important thing.
Well, McCartney did once play in Israel, so he's good.
No,
he's good in my book. And his children are Jewish. Window was Jewish, so he understands. He gets it. Yeah.
Best thing though to come out of it is that it's going to plummet the cost of Kanye vinyl and allow me to finally get 808 and Heartbreak, which I've been after for quite a while now, folks. Anyway,
I hope you find it for cheap. I'm never buying Kanye. I never bought Kanye to begin with. I was never really into him.
Yeah, I mean,
good luck with that, man.
If I had a problem with listening to heroin addicts who beat their wives, I'd never listen to Imagine. It's all about separating the art from the artist. Of course, your own background will form that. Of course it will. Of course it will.
There are times I like to do that with artists, but there's certain, well, at least I try not to. Mm-hmm. Like there are artists that I just cannot get into because of certain people in the band and things they've said.
Oh no, I mean am I ever going to get into Jerry Lee Lewis? Was I sad when he passed? No, he abused his 13-year-old cousin. Fuck that guy. Yeah, you heard, folks. You people in your 60s and 70s who watch this show. I'm sorry. I can't. Let's move on because I can feel us going on.
We should move on now. This is getting a little crazy.
Yeah. No. Anyway. Are you the only person in your family who was a collector? Did you, inherit a record collection from your parents or anything like that?
Yeah. Not long after I started collecting, it took me about a year from the moment I got the first record until I got a turntable. And once that happened, my parents gave me the old records.
Yeah.
And two of my uncles gave me the records as well. One of my uncles is still alive and he just get rid of them. Unfortunately, my other uncle passed away and I inherited his whole huge collection after he passed. But the rest of it is mine. I bought plenty of records on my own.
And has your taste been informed by those records, or were there a lot of ones where you're just like, I'll keep it, but I'm probably never going to listen to it?
A little bit of both, I guess. My taste is mostly informed like any new taste that I have has been formed by other people I know and I've met through Instagram and vinyl community and stuff like that. Wait, what was the second part of the question?
Oh, it
Lost my
doesn't
train of
matter.
thought
You know what?
there.
The more prescient question, though, you mentioned earlier getting into more modern bands. That's something that I'm personally
Yeah.
trying to do. Like, you know, I now listen to Bin purely because of McCartney 3 Imagine, for example. What do we have here? What do we
This
have
is
here?
my favorite record of the year. Someone I met through TikTok really liked it, and she
Oh, you
brought up
kids
a
are so
lot of.
young. You make me feel so old.
I'm 27. I don't know. I'm feel pretty old. This person I met through TikTok got me intrigued about this person, and I ended up loving her music so much. I got the album on vinyl. It's the artist is called Ash. The album is called Ray. This album is absolutely brilliant. I love it so much.
Just going to type that into my Spotify so I don't forget. Ash.
Freaking love it.
There we go. Boom. Ray's theme, Another Man's Jeans. Hope you're not happy. Shower with my clothes on. Ooh, some explicit lyrics in that one. I'm looking forward to this.
These are really great songs, and it's a lot for me, especially being a guy who only listens to oldies.
Mm-hmm.
To listen to love that album or an album like that.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I'm not complaining.
Are there
one bit?
Are there any modern albums that aren't on vinyl that you would like to have?
Let's see. Not that I can think of. Most albums nowadays are now pressed on vinyl.
Oh,
And there's
mad.
one album that I got a year or so ago that was pressed on vinyl for the first time within the last couple of years. It's by Jonathan Richman. It's called I, Jonathan.
Okay.
Jonathan Richman, the guy from the Modern Lovers. But most albums nowadays are pressed on vinyl. So I have nothing. I don't think I have anything to worry about regarding that.
There didn't seem to be much of a delay between the resurgence of vinyl and modern artists getting back onto it. At least all of the kind of major labels will at least do one pressing of most of it, at least for release day. We have H&V here in the UK. I mean, obviously got Walmart and Target exclusives in America as well. But I found it to be both kind of shocking and humbling to see how quickly the industry picked it back up. And it really has been for the better. More people spend more money on music now because of the proliferation of vinyl. We are in a golden age because I can remember back when I first started collecting it, and you know, even Beatles albums were just £5, $10, something like that. And you know, we're back to primo exclusive prices now for all of that content. But how long was it before you had a sizable collection, and how long was it before you decided to turn that into an Instagram page?
The collection really grew. I think when I was in college, I'd say it got especially big once. You know, I inherited my uncle's records after he passed. My collection started very slowly. You know, I was in high school. I didn't have money. It just so happens that my high school was right near a record store, and so occasionally a few times during free periods, I did go over there. It's a funny story actually. Once I had been saving up for the Beatles and Mono CD box set. I really wanted it. This was only a couple years after it came out, so the record store I went to still had it available for new. I had all the money. During my lunch period, I ran over there, and I was panting and stuff, and I gave them the money. I was like, Beatles and Mono. And I was gonna get the one that was all brand new, but the guys at the store convinced me to buy the one that was used. It's still in fantastic shape, and it was cheaper. So they're like, just take this one. And normally I'm the kind of guy who would have wanted to do, but I was like, okay, fine. I took it. I ran back. Thankfully, my teacher was late to class, but it was wild, you know. And
if your teacher would have punished you for being late for that, that would have been the greatest miscarriage of justice ever seen. No, I'm sorry.
This teacher happens to be a very nice guy, so that was never going to happen.
I saw a post oddly on Instagram today. Actually, it was a guy at a Keith Urban concert, and he knew Nicole Kidman was going to be there, and there's a big sign saying, "My teacher will excuse my absence if I get a picture with you." I'm like, that's the kind of teacher I like. That's the kind of teacher I like.
I love that too.
But yeah, talk to me about the Instagram page. How did it grow? How did you decide what your content was going to be? You know, how did you carve your niche, young man?
Believe it or not, Vinyl Benji started about over 5 years ago at this point. Actually, almost, yeah, about 5 years ago. I started in college just for fun. And back then it was just some pictures. I didn't post very much, very short captions. If you look at some of those posts now, it's very different from the way I would write nowadays. It's just interesting. And I can always send you links to these posts later if I have enough time to scroll through everything.
Yeah.
Started back then. Over time, there was plenty of time, before January of 21. That's when I really started to put more into it. But over the course of time, I started slowly but surely posting more, sharing more on it. Of course, there were many days and months where I didn't post anything at all, but I always returned to it. I didn't know the vinyl community existed until this past January. The closest I got was this guy, Wax by Graves, who does the Wax Crayon Challenge, where every month there's a color, you post photos with records while the color. I haven't done it in a few months because I kind of just forgot about it, but it's a really wonderful thing. And maybe I'll revisit it this month, but that's besides the point. That was my first sort of hint of the vinyl community, but I didn't really know how big it was. I guess it didn't really get big until the pandemic happened. And of course I started my page before the pandemic, so I don't know how many vinyl people were on Instagram around 2016 when I started it. But around December, January of 2016, one of my dear friends in real life, Hits and Hops, his name is Tim, his handle is Hits and Hops. He was really starting to get his page up and going, and he was kind of telling me what kind of stuff he was doing, and he gave me some good tips, and I started to follow that stuff. That's when I started meeting the whole vinyl community. I met a lot of amazing people. I made a lot of amazing connections. I only had about 400 followers in January of 2021. I got to 400 around mid-January, but it didn't take long for me to reach 1,000 later that month. It was exciting. And eventually and it was this time I had a logo, and I used like my bed blanket as sort of the inspired background to my posts, but I got bored of that. It didn't last very long. But I started to notice in the following months, like I wasn't getting as many followers as I had been that one time, and that the look was getting tiring. So I got rid of the look, and I was getting together with some friends, colleagues of mine. I used to intern at a very well-known podcast you may have heard of called Star Talk with Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Okay.
Interned there in college, and I still
a little bit more popular than this show, I must admit. But
yeah, I interned there in college. Neil's a nice guy. But I actually still work with a lot of those people now. We're just at a different podcast. But I was meeting with my Star Talk friends, and one of them, she's a social media expert pretty much. And this was around the time Reels were starting to become a thing. And she was like, yeah, Reels are becoming a thing. You should start doing some more of those. And so I did. One of the first funny ones I ever did was I found this random rap song. I don't even remember the name of it. And it was like, I got too many cars, clothes, I got too many. And it was pretty much me showing the 7 copies of Sgt. Pepper I had at the time. And from there, I started doing video content more. And eventually, I guess it just kind of became this thing. People tend to know me for the Reels and the TikToks that I do. It's fun to do. I like doing it. And that's ultimately what's helped me, I believe, build my page up to where it is now. I'm not that far away from 10,000 followers. I don't know. I'm not trying to brag. I still have ways to go till I get there, but it's not terribly far. But I love doing the video content. It's been fun because it's fun to use my real voice and talk to people. Of course, sometimes I'll use trending sounds, but in more recent times, I've taken a different approach. I've been talking more to the camera, telling more stories about my collection with my own voice. And of course, I occasionally drop humor that way too. Just today, I put a video up where I have this Simon and Garfunkel record I got a few weeks ago. It's a Taiwan pressing, and on the record, on the label, it says Iman and Garfunkel. the S is missing. And so I made a joke where it's pretty much like, I got their name wrong. It's Simon and Garfunkel, not Iman. It's Iman and Garfunkel, not Simon and Garfunkel. And now, so like, when it comes to any content I do, I try not to totally be stagnant. Like once in a while, you got to just shake things up and do something different and catch people by surprise a little bit. I like to explore, try new things, and use pop culture and see what just go to what sometimes.
I mean, Instagram kind of changed into a completely different beast once Reels came in. It's no longer the same app that I remember. Like back in my day, young man, it was just bikini babes in the square format, and now it's comedy, it's news, it's satire, the memes galore. You know,
I remember too.
My God,
the filters I used to have on Instagram, where did those go?
No,
I remember those days quite well too.
It wasn't called Klondike, but there was one with that kind of name.
I think, I remember. It was one where it had like the numbers on the bottom, the black frame. I know that one. Sure,
man, we'll be telling our grandkids about Instagram filters. You know, son, there was something called Snapchat and you could look like a dog, you know, all that.
And it's funny though, because look, as I said, I try to keep things new and fresh and try to go off the cuff and be unexpected. So like I do mostly reels nowadays, but once in a while I still like to do photo posts because people don't expect that from me much anymore. So if they see a photo post of mine, they're like, oh, he still does photos? Nice. Let's like it.
Well, unlike, say, Facebook and increasingly Twitter, Instagram and TikTok are the realm of, big quotation marks here, young people. And
and those are the two platforms that I am mainly active on. I actually did start a Facebook page, but I only have like 2 followers on it so far. Don't expect much from that. But TikTok and Instagram are where I am mainly located.
No, I mean, I had Skylar Moody on recently. She's a big Beatles presence on a TikTok as well. I'm sure I'll get you two together on at some point to make me feel even older and irrelevant. But it's made me realize I'm gonna have to do the same soon. I mean, it's going to be Mastodon soon as well once Elon Musk completely collapses Twitter as well. But I mean, I'm getting more into reels myself, just the constant scroll. I'm like, I can fit fun McCartney trivia into a 15-second, 10-second format easily.
100%. You can definitely do that. And there are pages that do like McCartney content and stuff. Like, I think you do well with that.
How do you feel the response has been from a younger audience, though? Do you feel confident that the Beatles fandom is going to continue right on into the future through platforms like Instagram and TikTok?
Well, yeah, it already has, right?
It was a bit of a rhetorical question, but you know, it's
oh, my bad.
It's you know, it's just humbling again. So I hate repeating words, but it's great to see that it's been able to, you know, jump from one format to another. Obviously, Taylor Swift recently just got the top 10 entirely in America through streaming, and there were loads of comments saying, well, if the Beatles had streaming back in the day, they would have had the top 10 as well. And I kind of feel like this.
I mean, that is true, and I do believe, you know, look, the charts are different. It includes streaming songs, not just songs that were exclusively released as singles. But make no mistake, what Taylor accomplished is still very impressive, and she deserves all the praise for it.
Yeah,
that's what I believe. Yeah.
Well, you know, we each game the system in our own way. McCartney gamed the system by releasing 30 different versions of McCartney 3. It's no different, you know. But yeah, note to self, folks, I'm going to open a TikTok account. I'm going to start doing Instagram Reels. Who knows? I might even do one of those ones where I jump and then I'm wearing no clothes. That's big at the moment. TikTok Bays is a page that my friend follows, and he keeps showing me all of the content from there.
Well, not even sure what I'm always happy to give you some pointers and some wisdom from the little I know. I'm happy to help you, and seriously, I am.
No, I just thought of another idea that I had recently. One of my favorite subgenres of vinyl pages is the sexy woman with no evidence she even listens to the album holding an album, and it's, you know, typically in various stages of undress, and they have massive amounts of followers. I'm like, more power to you. If you can get the clicks, you can get the clicks. But I'm tempted to do a parody one where it's a kind of pasty, borderline chubby guy doing the exact same thing, but in my pants. I think I might be able to get some clicks with that as well. What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I like to believe that these people who happen to be women, oh my God, the people who happen to be women are listening to these records. Look, I posted
that.
that
Oh no!
records,
By the way, just for legality's sake, that was entirely a sarcastic joke. That was.
Oh, I figure. Right. You're British. British humor is different than American humor. My bad. Sometimes I forget that.
No,
I actually have posted records I've never listened to before. Seriously, I
okay.
have. I've done that. Yeah.
Oh no, it's like when a prank channel on YouTube admits that some of the pranks are staged. No, Fousey Tube, no.
Nah, dude, I'm sorry. Like I said, British and American sense of humor are different. Not bad. I didn't mean to cause this or anything. Yeah.
But yeah, let's talk about the nitty gritty. How do you get your vinyl? Are you still going to stores?
Sure.
I was going to say,
I go to stores plenty. I'm trying to limit the amount of times I buy online. At this point, I really have most of the records I've always wanted.
that's great.
I have solid copies of every British Beatles album. They're not all originally UK's. Like some of them are. Like I have a copy of the White Album from France from the late 70s. That's on white vinyl. Like that really beats a British original in lots of ways, in my opinion. I don't know about the sound quality, everything else about it. It's just so cool. Yeah. I have amazing solid copies of Beatles albums, and I even have at least one copy, well, only one copy of every post 94 album, like BBC anthologies, Beatles One Let Be Naked, Love, Mile Masters, both live at the BBC's, the new live at the BBC from 2013 and Volume 2. I have all those on vinyl. So I really don't need to go like online as much anymore and find specific pressings of things. There's certainly other little variants I want, but it's not the end of the world. I try to limit what I get at stores, because if there have been times where I've been mostly buying records online, I would never be able to go to a store because I already noticed I spend too much. And I'm not very good with money to begin with. So it's a constant struggle for me.
It's also nice to support your local store as well, of course.
Oh yeah, and I do. I like going to my local stores. There's a few that I go to. Let's see, like the first store I ever went to is a store called Mr. Cheapos. It's still around. It's Long Island. These are all Long Island. I'm from Long Island, New York. Mr. Cheapos, Infinity Records, and it's a few towns over for me. Moonshine Emporium, which is a store I go to a lot. I've become quite friendly with the owners. We're on first name basis. They trust me in the store by myself sometimes. I like to go to local stores. I'm actually going to a record fair this weekend on Saturday. So I'm hoping to find that German copy of Magical Mystery Tour I've always wanted. But besides that, there aren't a ton of records I necessarily need, because I pretty much have everything I want. There's always something that will come up that I'm like interested in. Mm-hmm. It happens.
I was going to say the real question now, though, are you going to expand into cassettes, 8-track, CDs, that kind of thing?
It's funny. I do have a cassette player that's currently being repaired. It's a little one my grandma gave me, but that was hers. But not really. I want to experiment and record a record to a cassette I have, just to see how that goes. But no, not really. I think vinyl still sounds the best out of all of them. With CDs, like I've always personally felt that vinyl was much more bang for your buck than CDs, because growing up for me, I'd get a CD, put it on my iTunes, and forget it. Mm-hmm. Just put it away somewhere, and that was it. Granted, I do have some CDs that are worth something and some that still mean a lot to me, but vinyl to me is still, I don't plan on starting to collect any other format, really.
And going back to Beatles specifically, what about any other memorabilia? Do you dabble in posters, bath gels, bubblegum cards, that kind of thing?
I do have a couple of other things here and there. I do have submarine figures up there, but those were given to me by my uncle when I was really little, so I didn't have to.
Everyone's got them but me. Oh.
Sorry, dude.
Beautiful. No, have you got a Lego Yellow Submarine?
I wish. No, I never got that, oddly enough. But Lego, I always assumed Lego was just so expensive. I never went for it. Records are my main thing. I do have a couple other things. Like I have some books. I have some Ringo signed books, I think. And I have but mainly it's records. Because that's just the thing I love. There's some memorabilia that I would just get and leave on a shelf and do nothing with. But records are that's just how I choose to devote my money to my passion.
I totally get that. I've got my own vices. I've got vinyl. I spend far too much on Yu-Gi-Oh cards, something that I got into far later in life than anyone else ever should. I totally get that.
Actually, while we're on the subject of autographs, this is something that recently happened to me.
Ooh.
I haven't really told a lot of people about this because I've been saying that I was going to get this checked out by someone who knows a thing or two about autographs. I was at a local like antique vintage junk store, whatever. They had a few records there. They were signed, mostly signed Beatles records. They were all looked fake, clearly fake to me. And the certificates of authentication on them were obviously just bogus also. But then I saw one there that I looked at it and I said, this looks very convincing if it's fake. It was really 100, but the guy was having a sale the next day, so he let me have it for the half off of $50. And I'm starting to, and I've been thinking this might have a shot of being the real deal. It's a copy of All Things Must Pass with autographs supposedly by George Harrison, Ringo Starr, Bob Dylan, and Eric Clapton.
Fucking hell! If that's real,
look, and if it was fake, I still only spent $50 on it. It's not the end of the world.
Still a copy of All Things Must Pass as well.
I've barely told anyone about this yet. Because I still have yet to contact people who might be able to get a professional opinion on this. But
that needs to be on your Instagram page. That is the best way for you to get that outreach out there, I reckon.
Yeah, I've already posted on a few Facebook groups, and I've had plenty of people say that it looks like the real deal, but of course there are a couple be like, no, that's fake. What are you doing? Like crazy internet people. I'm honestly not sure ready to yet. I'm not always good at handling mean people on the internet. So we'll see. I just want to at least get this checked out by someone who can help me authenticate, so to speak. It'll be hard to authenticate something like that. I mean, I know it's a real copy of All Things Must Pass. It's just the same. Anyway.
Oh, it'd be horrible if you opened it up and like the vinyl on like the inside was like the best of Diana Ross or something. Like
no, the record's real. It's the joint thing that opens that's broken. But besides that, everything's fine.
Have you ever had any other gaffes, like you bought something and it wasn't the thing you expected, or anything like that? I hope you've never been conned into buying something.
No, well, there was one thing that happened recently. I ordered one of my favorite other bands is Madness, actually.
Madness, awesome! Oh
yeah.
My god! So for any of my American viewers who are not watching, they're one of the biggest bands with a very certain age range in the UK. If you ask anyone between like 35 and 45, they will be a Madness fan, 100%.
I can't reach work right now, but I have a bunch of their records now. There have been a couple reissues of One Step Beyond, and they all have like bonus tracks that are still not available for streaming whatsoever. And the most recent CD reissue, like even had some digital bonus tracks. I cannot find them for the life of me. Mm-hmm. So I ordered that CD, but the guy sent me the wrong CD. He sent me an earlier reissue, which I was able to find those songs online. Thankfully, I mean, I told him the situation. He refunded me. I sent it back. It was no big deal. But no, nothing else really. Nothing I can think of. No.
Now the big question: do you actually play these vinyl? Do you have vinyl that is just for display only? Would you ever buy a second copy, one to listen, one to display?
Everything's for playing. Like I have some records in the wall, but I do keep the discs themselves on the shelf so I can still play them.
That's good to hear. There's nothing.
Even my butcher cover gets played from time to time.
Oh,
That was that was a weird humble brag. My apologies, but you get the idea. I like to play everything. That's what they're meant for.
dude, I was brought up on Toy Story, and the idea of those vinyls sitting on the wall when I go out the room going, Sam hasn't played me for years. I have to systematically go through the whole collection, pop everything on at least once a year so they all feel used and loved. Other big releases we've had lately, I mean, the big one would be Revolver, the big Revolver box set. Was that something you were able to? Oh, where is it?
It's up here. It's up here.
Excellent.
Actually, the bonus, the outtakes sleeve is over there because I was playing it earlier, but it's up here.
Excellent. What did you think?
It's up here.
How did it compare to the other box sets?
Remix was fantastic. Bonus tracks were amazing. No complaints, honestly.
My favorite part of the discourse surrounding it was the partners of people who had bought it, who then put on the bonus track CD, and they're like, hang on, is there 4 got to get you into my lives in a row? I just like the idea of it annoying a bunch of husbands and wives throughout the land. I thought that was quite funny.
No, I'm not. That's something that I love. I like to listen to that song more than once.
No, I mean, Yellow Submarine has now gone from a McCartney throwaway because we thought McCartney wrote it, so therefore it's rubbish. Oh, but now Lennon composed it, so now it's the greatest song ever. That kind of discourse is still going.
There's still I imagine there's still so many unheard takes and things people don't know about in storage at Abbey Road. Like we think we know all the outtakes because there's a lot of stuff that has been bootlegged over the years, but there's still so much yet to be heard. You never know what's in there. And it's amazing. In all these years later, we're still going to listen and find out about new things that we're going to blow our socks off.
I mean, Harrison in the 90s was saying, we should call it scraping the bottom of the barrel. And now here we are in 2022 with 4 Got to Get You Into My Lives, 4 Yellow Submarines, and we're seeing these songs actually get crafted and built before our eyes. And yeah, of course, I get the fact that probably 50% of them are going to be borderline identical with minor mess ups here and there, and that's why they didn't use the take. I get that that's what they would perceive to be the boring content. But
apparently that's probably why they didn't have an outtake for Good Day Sunshine. Someone I know who hosts a Beatles podcast, he told me that essentially there really wasn't anything exciting in the outtakes. The song was on maybe 1 or 2 takes. And it wasn't worth it, I suppose. So they didn't do a bonus track for it. And that's one of those songs that never had any alternate takes bootlegged either. So I was really hoping for that one. Yeah, go figure.
Yeah. I mean, the further back we get, it makes you wonder how many outtakes there are going to be. So if we keep doing this for, say, Please Please Me, it's going to have to be Star Club tape stuff, the BBC stuff. They're not going to have that much to go off. Maybe live stuff from television.
I mean, there is plenty of stuff still from Please Please Me. It's just with the Beatles that there's barely anything.
Mm-hmm.
With the Beatles, there's barely any outtakes available.
Interesting. With the Beatles, could be sparser than Please Please Me. That is interesting.
I honestly believe that'll be the case. Yeah.
Giles, you're going to have to do something interesting, my lad. We'll see.
I am excited. Hard Day's Night, I believe there's plenty. And the rest of them after that, I believe there's still plenty. Hard Day's Night going forward, there's still a lot.
I just want the Help box set to make everyone like That Means a Lot, because it's genuinely my favorite forgotten Beatles track, and
I love that one so much.
The melody's a classic McCartney melody, and the chorus is such a downbeat. Kind of pulls the rug out from under your feet. Like you think it'd be That Means a Lot, like something big and grand. It's just That Means a Lot, and it's just boom back into the riff again. Love that, absolutely do. Do you have a white whale? Is there anything on the horizon? I mean, you've said you've got mostly everything you want, but is there a specific pressing from Argentina or a Japanese Moby strip that you're yet to own? Come on, there's got to be something I can tease.
Well, I already mentioned the German Magical Mystery Tour, which I'm hoping to find sometime. And Beatles albums, nothing I can think of at the moment. For Paul McCartney, there are definitely albums I'm still missing. For let's see, Red Rose Speedway, I still don't have. There's a couple, like I'm trying to think. Copies of this are pretty expensive. My friend has one. It's Memory Almost Full. Love that album. Love that on vinyl.
So
Some of the 80s and 90s albums I don't have.
Do you have
There's
an Off
definitely
the
plenty of
Ground?
McCartney. I wish.
Oh,
I don't have it on vinyl. No, don't have it on, I love that album. I don't have it on vinyl. But I do, I have a lot of the other albums. I have like 4 copies of Bands on the Run, which is an interesting story one of them, when we get to the part where I show some of my favorite pieces of my McCartney collection, that's one of them I will show actually. But
excellent. Dude, you can get Retro Speedway for cheap. I will buy you one. Come on, it would just cost me too much to send it to America.
Well, I could at least pay you for the shipping. If you could find me cool British pressing, I'm down, sure.
Also, just trying to see. I have Mars. I don't
have a Speed of Sound.
I don't have Back to the Egg.
Would definitely love a British copy of McCartney too sometime. There's definitely a few McCartneys I don't have. And there's still a few Lennons I don't have for that matter. It's definitely don't have all the Ringos. I actually do have all the Georges via the box set over there. But
okay. Yeah, awesome. Now I'm still upset that I don't own a vinyl copy of All Things Must Pass, let alone one with all of those signatures on it. But you know what? Seeing as how you so kindly brought up the actual format of this program that we are on right now, it is time for us to pull down a ladder, put on a light just as you did. Let's dust off some cobwebs. Let's go into your attic. Let's see your first item on Macca in your attic.
It's getting dark in here, so I had to turn the lights on. The lighting looks worse now. Holy shit.
Oh, dude, it's getting dark so early now. I don't think I've got SADS, but the early dark hours and the late light hours are getting to me now. It really is.
All right. And McCartney shelf is down here. I guess I could.
Oh, is that a McCartney 3 box just under the submarine as well? Just over there.
Oh, that one that came with like a set of dice in the CD. It's
yeah.
Let's see. I do have the McCartney 3 vinyl box up there. I'll show some cool McCartney I have. I might show a couple. I already showed. What's that? There it is. Nice.
The same one.
Oh, that looks much cooler than mine. I have a couple Beatles I'm going to show, but I'm going to start with some McCartneys that I have that I absolutely love. Of course, I'm going to start with that Bands on the Run I was telling you about. My first copy, Bands on the Run, I bought it when I was studying abroad in Israel. It was like 30 shekels, which back then was not much. The conversion rate was like 3.6 to like 3.6 shekels to $1 American dollar. But I got this copy. I didn't think anything of it at the time. It was cool. One thing about Israeli copies of Bands on the Run that are really interesting is that the labels on the record are not what you normally find.
Parlophone.
It's on a regular Parlophone label. No pictures, no anything like that. Parlophone.
Yeah, there's no. Oh yeah, it's just a generic pressing label. That is interesting.
Well, I believe it came down to rights and stuff. Apple, I don't know if it was totally formed there. I don't really understand why. I don't totally remember why. But either way, this is such a cool pressing. I did end up buying a second Israeli pressing that's in a little bit better shape, just for the hell of it. But if someone were to say, "Hey, Benji, can I have one of those Israeli pressings?" Maybe I'd say yes. I would give them the other one. This one I bought there. This one has much more sentimental value, despite the fact that it is a little more scratched up.
And is Helen Wheels on any of those versions? No, they're all the British copies.
All the European one.
That's what I like.
I do have an American one now, but I do love Helen Wheels. It's a great one. Let's see what else. Where do I? There's a bunch of ones. Some good ones in here. Thank you both. I know which one I was going to show.
I'm trying to think of a Judaism pun for a song of Band on the Run, and all I can think of is menorah, but to the tune of Mamunia, and that's terrible. That's not even funny.
I like it. I think it's solid.
I'm trying to think of like there's got to be something on that album that I can do for like Schlemiel or something like that, you know. Really, I'm trying to go through Pretty Fly for a Rabbi and picking out all the Yiddish words.
Wait,
are you Jewish too?
No, but one of my best friends is. Shout out to Ben. Love you, Bo.
Oh, it's a common Jewish name, Ben, isn't it?
Although my name
show
is
you.
a Hebrew one, Samuel David, which means either strong king or great king, I believe. My mom was very adamant about a biblical name like that.
That's a beautiful one. This is my next one. This one I got more recently. I got at my local record store, but
which one? Give him a shout out. Come on.
Birthday 12-inch single.
Oh, a 12-inch of Birthday. Nice. What are the B-sides on that?
The B-side is Birthday, and there's live versions of Birthday and Good Day Sunshine. The B-side is P.S. Love Me Do. You know, that combination of P.S. I Love You and Love Me Do, and Let 'Em In. Live versions of those.
That's
so
cool.
Birthday was one of the first songs I ever really knew. There's a tradition in my family. We still do it. Whenever someone has a birthday, we wake them up with the Beatles song Birthday. We dance around, wake them up. That's how we start their birthday. Something we still do, and I'm 27. It's a wonderful thing. Birthday's always been one of my favorites. So it's nice to have a full version of that song on a 12-inch single like this.
That is absolutely adorable. That fills my heart, my cold, dead heart, with love and joy. See, in my house, it's the Stevie Wonder birthday song. That's a good one. Happy birthday! Yeah, it's. But I mean, it's a shame that that single, or at least the recording of it, is mired by what I call the McCartney fake rock growl of the 1990s. So, today is your birthday! And it's like, come on, Paul, you're not doing Little Richard anymore. Just go out gracefully. Like, he's doing it now. He's going out gracefully in ways that he should have been doing 40 years ago. So it's nice to see that he's maturing as an artist.
Maybe he's just going through a midlife crisis back then. Who knows? No idea.
Let's see. I'm just trying to. I might show one more McCartney album, and I'll do a couple of Beatles.
Dude, you can go over 5 items. If you've got fun stuff, if you've got fun stuff to show me, just fucking show it.
I definitely do. I've got a lot of fun stuff to show. I'll show McCartney 3. It's not like super rare or anything like that, but it's an interesting story. This is the 3333. You know,
the one fuck off, piss off. That's
interesting story. Interesting story.
Oh.
So, my friend Hits and Hops, Tim Hits and Hops, who I mentioned before, he has one of the 333 copies, like the even rarer ones, the ones with the dots.
Yeah.
Now he managed to find out about it early on. He managed to get himself a copy. He texted me about it. I was midway through ordering it, but I took my time. I was trying to figure stuff out. And then when I went and tried to press the confirm order button, I pressed it. It was sold out already. So I really came close to getting one of the 333 versions. I was so close. And, you know, if I ever want to see one of those versions, I could just go to Tim's house, no problem. So when I found out about this one, I was very excited about it. I pre-ordered it through an independent record store's website, but the order was canceled because I guess they didn't get as many as they thought. So I did have to order this one for a little more expensive online, but it was still worth it. It sounds great. It's a really cool copy. Looks beautiful. I love it.
What do you think of the album?
I love McCartney 3. It's fantastic.
It's so good. I might put McCartney 3 on after this while I play Uncharted 4. No.
Honestly, I might do that too.
How many copies of McCartney 3 do you own?
5, including the one that came in the McCartney 1, 2, 3 box set.
Yeah. I found a lot of people say that. They say so-and-so plus the one that came in the McCartney 3 box set. That definitely inflated it. Like, you know, when like artists like Prince famously would like give you an album with your concert ticket to help put the album back in the charts. Very clever stuff. Very clever stuff. But
I've got some other solid McCartney stuff. I have some singles too, but the singles are all the way at the other side of the room. So I guess I have to go up and get those. I can't think of any of the singles that I have that might be worth sharing off the top of my head.
Just don't go.
Well, mind if I do? Mind if I just go over real quick and check?
Yeah.
Oh, 1 second. I can still hear you and stuff.
So something that I find quite interesting about 12-inch singles is that whenever I read about them online on Wikipedia or even on like the Paul McCartney Project or Beatles Bible, they're referred to as maxi singles. Now, whenever I ask anyone over the age of 30, have they ever heard of the phrase maxi single, they have no idea what the hell I am on about. Is that a term that is common in the American lexicon, or is that just something that was made up for, categories?
It's a term that I've definitely heard, but it's not one that I use.
12-inch is just a lot better, isn't it? It just sells it.
I definitely have heard it. Just not it's not one that's used very much.
No, the only person.
Sorry, I do have a few McCartney singles to show.
Go on.
They sort of group together.
Do them as a quick fire round. We'll do a quick intermission quick fire round. McCartney singles. 1, 2, 3.
These
go!
are a bunch of like capital for jukeboxes only singles.
Jukebox singles. So again,
the reason they're all McCartney. The reason why I show them is because these were amongst the second records I ever had. Like the first time I ever went record shopping, it was 6 months after I got the Frieza Bird. I was on a trip with my family to Cleveland. We went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Still didn't have record player yet, but I bought a bunch of singles. Singles were cheap, and these were among them. A bunch of these McCartney ones.
I can guess 2 of them. I bet I can guess at least 2 of them. One of them is going to be Biker Like an Icon and Lonely Road.
Let's see.
Because they're the first 2.
Yeah, Biker Like an Icon is one of them. Yes.
Yeah. Is that on white vinyl? Lonely Road, maybe.
No Lonely Road.
Okay.
The others are Off the Ground, backed with Cosmically Conscious. Come On People, backed with Down to the River. Biker Like an Icon, backed with Things We Said Today, unplugged version.
That's the one I have.
And From a Lover and a Friend with Freedom.
Oh, I would love a copy of it. At least there was one from Driving Rain. I know that had a big push with jukebox singles.
Maybe this is one of the singles that'll be a part of that box set.
Obviously, you know what? As a New Yorker, how do you feel about Freedom? Do you still feel the noble intent of it, or are you
100%?
Yeah, because like a lot of people.
That's a song I actually share. I still share every year on 9/11.
Excellent, because I feel like the whole Bush jingoism and the way that the song may have been misinterpreted, I feel like it's quite an uncharitable view of the song. I mean, does McCartney say fight with weapons? Not necessarily. It could be through peaceful demonstration. It could be through voting. It's not McCartney saying, oh, and we take our M16s and we go to the Middle East and oppress people. That's not what the song is. And I mean, it's just so good as well. I remember there's a quote from rateyouralbum.com that says, freedom has the chorus that most of Driving Rain wishes it has. And whilst I don't agree with that, I understand why someone would have that opinion, because it's a classic McCartney chorus on a dark, weird, post 9/11, post Death of Linda McCartney album. It's just this bright message for New York. I think it's really beautiful. Personally.
Yeah, I like it. He was there. He was literally getting ready to fly out of New York when it happened. He was on an airplane and the planes crashed. He stayed in New York. He was around there. He organized the concert for New York. He really did a service, for our city, for our country. He really helped provide relief, and that song is really definitely something I always think of. I remember where I was too. I was at school. I went to a Jewish day school. It was not long after I first started there, and people started going, and I got randomly picked up by a family friend to go back to their house. I was like 6 at the time, but it was still like, even I still would kind of remember what happened that day. It's wild stuff.
Yeah, man. I was 9 years old. My childminder had a bouncy castle in her backyard, should I say, in her back garden, and I remember jumping up and down on it and being like, why isn't everyone else out here? Come on, we've got the bouncy castle. And then I go back inside and everyone's pale. People are crying. There's a little kid hiding under a pillow. Horrendous time. Absolutely horrendous time.
It was.
But it is our Kennedy assassination. You know, everyone remembers.
Pearl Harbor, Kennedy assassination, even John Lennon's death. Everyone remembered where they were for that too.
Yeah, the 7/7 attacks here in the UK, obviously not on the same scale, but the Subway and London buses were hit around that time as well. And I can remember exactly where I was in school, the room, the teacher I had. These things are so informative, and I'm terrified that when McCartney passes in the next, say, 15 years, I'm really worried that I'm going to be in like a bakery buying a sausage roll, something really mundane and boring. Like, oh, I was buying some Marmite and mayonnaise in Tesco at the time. Sorry, it's not a fun story.
I just hope that doesn't happen. I hope this just doesn't happen for a very long time. It's just sad to think about the day when, like, there are no more Beatles. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's physically hard to say. But people say Keith Richards is going to be the one that survives the nuclear apocalypse. Ringo looks about 34 years old.
Ringo still looks fantastic. Ringo and Paul are both in still fantastic physical shape and mental shape too. You never know. I mean, I'm hoping that they're still around for a while. That's helpful for me.
The song goes from Mick Jagger as well, and it's like, oh no, I think this whole vegetarianism, veganism thing might actually have some merit to it. No, I don't have to want to change my life. I love the McRib, it's. But yeah, excellent jukebox selections there. Sorry for going on a tangent about freedom.
No, it's okay.
I've just done 4 episodes.
Can I show you some? I like that song too. Can I show you some of the Beatles stuff I have too?
Can you? Does a bear shit in the wood? Is the Pope Catholic? Come on.
Let me just get I'm just going to move the desk. This is the shelf. This is where I keep the Beatles records.
In his own right, I see there. What else we got?
There's just some stuff in the way. I have the thing of paint here. It's just random storage. Hold on. This is but I keep CDs in there. Hold on. There's some cool stuff.
Is that Woody the Cowboy's hat?
Oh yeah.
Folks, for anyone who's just listening to this, I recognized Woody the Cowboy's hat about 2 pixels wide.
The rest of Woody's is in the shelf over there. This is a doll I've had since I was really little too. I still have it after all these years.
I've got my Buzz Lightyear. It's sun bleached, but I've still got it.
Hey, we can pair them together and do some kind of fun thing with them.
You got a friend in me.
Wow. Oh, where do I begin with the Beatles? These are all copies of the "Love Me Do" single I used recently for a video. I just haven't put them away.
Oh wow! I think I actually saw that one. Actually, that does come to mind.
Yeah, I actually just got a couple more copies of "Love Me Do." Believe it or not,
you can never have too many.
It's an interesting story. I guess, like, since I talked about it, I'll show you them for not even that much. In 2012, when they did a 50th anniversary pressing, let me hold on 1 second. There we go.
Is this the gold one that you're going to talk about? Did they do a gold one?
No, I don't think that. Well, 2012
it was a gold CD. Sorry, carry on.
No, it's okay. In 2012, they did repressings of "Love Me Do" for its 50th anniversary, and the first pressings that came out accidentally had the Andy White version of "Love Me Do," not the Ringo version. And they pretty much asked people to send it back. So it's not, they're not terribly expensive online, but they're still kind of rare. And I know someone.
Send it back.
Yeah, but I just recently got one. Someone I know had it. The guy who hosts the Beatles, the same guy who I was talking about before, who is a host of the Beatles podcast, Fab War Free for All. His name is Mitch.
He
was selling some records, and I bought this from him. This is the one this is the mispress, and he happens to have a sealed copy of the one that came after it. So I have a few of these now. Let's see what else. Oh my God, there's so many in here. What do I do? I'll show you my butcher cover.
Oh, I mean, everyone has to show their butcher cover on the show. It's a rite of passage at this point.
Yeah, it's legit one of the most interesting ones I have. I don't know how else to say it.
Was it what was it pasted over?
Yeah, second stage.
Yeah.
You can see the Ringo's neck is right there. I don't know if you can see it very well.
Yeah. I can actually. Weirdly,
And
I
even
can.
so, there's still a hint of the gray of the butcher cover still down there, actually.
Oh, they weren't even trying. Were they?
No, they didn't. No, not at all.
Have you ever been tempted to like maybe put an iron over it and try and ease? No, never.
Never. A lot of people have done that. I can't, and I don't blame them for it at all. I'd be curious too, but I also know that second states are a little rarer nowadays, and I want to keep mine that way. I generally don't want to get rid of or sell any Beatles records, but this one is definitely an investment that I'm definitely going to consider selling one day when they get more valuable.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, is there anything that I'd consider selling? I mean, I've got an original pressing of Sergeant Pepper, but it's got my dad's neighbor's name written on it because he stole it from her.
Yeah, well, that's valuable. That's sentimental value. I wouldn't get rid of something like that either.
Oh, no. And that was one of the 3 records he gave me. I'll never get rid of it. No.
I have an original British Sergeant Pepper too. I'll show that one too in a bit. Trying to think.
Is the Hey Jude album that much in the States? Because it's so expensive over here in the UK because we have to ship them in.
Yeah, well, it was pressed. It was an American record, but they did import copies from Britain. I actually would love one of those British copies because unlike other import pressings of American albums, that one uses a different tape and it apparently sounds better than the American one. So that's on my list. Let It Be Naked. Here we go.
Oh,
This one was a more recent purchase
It
from
brings back
Japan.
bad memories.
Oh, sorry.
No, so
Never mind.
I was in a long relationship and there was a bad breakup.
Nice.
And let's just say my copy of Let It Be was a casualty of that bad breakup.
Let It Be Naked?
Yeah. I lost my Let It Be Naked and my UK Rubber Soul. Weirdly, I've still got my US copy. I was like, couldn't you have smashed the US one? Come on, they're so cheap.
That's what I would have done.
Drive My Car starts the album, everyone. Drive My Car starts the album. But yeah,
dude, that's a bummer. That's rough, buddy.
No, it's funny because I had another girlfriend previously, and I bought her dad Let It Be Naked on CD for his birthday, and the next day it was stolen from his car. So Let It Be Naked and me do not get along, and that's why I will forever be a Glyn Johns simp fanboy.
Welcome, man. You did a good job. No question about that.
No, give me Rocker and Save the Last Dance for me. That's my jam.
I love that stuff.
Yeah, I love how drunk and terrible it is. It's my favorite.
This is an interesting copy of the White Album. This was among my uncle's records that I got after he passed away. This is a copy of the White Album, I believe, like early mid 70s US pressing.
Okay.
Still sealed.
Ooh.
It was free for me. And it still has its price sticker on it. It's from Tower Records.
Oh my gosh.
He never opened it. And I'm not planning on opening it either.
Wow. Sealed,
right.
Pre-Reaganomics. It must smell fantastic. My gosh.
It smells like, I don't know. It doesn't really smell like anything. It's still sealed.
Yeah, oh my word. I mean, it's still a toss-up for me whether the French white vinyl one's cooler than that one, though. I'll leave that up to the people in the comments down below.
Well, the French white. Oh, thank you for reminding me. I could show you that too. There's some really cool stuff with that pressing that really just, wow. Like I got it. I did a video on this a few months ago. After I got it, I was in California visiting friends. Do you have that white vinyl pressing from France too? Or was it just because I mentioned it earlier?
What is long, long, long in French? Long tem, long tem, long tem.
Oh, in Hebrew it'd be aruch, aruch, aruch.
Right, come on. Let's. No, folks. We're going to take a quick. What is it in Maori? Long, long, long. Roll, roll,
so,
roll.
It still has a hype sticker on it, which makes it really cool.
I'm going to need all of these albums now in Hebrew. That's your challenge from now on.
funny because original Israeli pressings of Beatles albums from the 60s don't even say made in Israel on them. There's no Hebrew on them.
Hmm.
Fascinating thing.
Interesting.
Anti-Semitism? I don't know. You see the portraits. Of course, you see which way the portraits are.
Mm-hmm.
You see how they're facing. You see what they look like. Okay. Now let me show you the printed ones.
Don't say they've got unique ones. Don't you dare. Oh no. Oh no.
Now what the hell am I going to say then?
Oh no. What?
They're backwards.
They are.
They're backwards. They're printed backwards.
That Paul looks all wrong.
Right. It looks different.
That's so weird. It's so
right.
It's like a Mandela effect. It's messing with my mind.
Yeah, it kind of is actually.
Yeah, like what? Maybe those are from an alternative universe where the photos were the other way around. Oh my God, I'm on 6%. Then let me grab a charger. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, okay.
Oh, it's
of
just
course. Here's what the.
I probably could have done this. Wait.
So many out. There are going to be
friend.
so many outtakes for your subscribers, huh?
There we. Oh, he could have been saying funny things in Hebrew, and I've missed it now. There we go.
אין לי משהו לאמור עכשיו, זה מצחיק. My Hebrew needs a little bit work. It's been a while. Lavan, that's white in Hebrew.
Can I have English to Hebrew on Google? I can. Here we go. Oh, I'm banned on the. Oh, it writes it in Hebrew as well. Damn.
Yeah, well, I can tell you the word's probably aruch. I don't know what to tell you. Aruch. Well, long, depending on what context long is. Distance-wise, would be aruch, I think.
Is there a masculine and a feminine, or is it not that kind of language?
Like for example, let's say like love, ani ohev, I love. But if it was a female, it would be ani ohevet.
Okay.
That's just one example.
So what would the Beatles' Love be, the album? The first one? Yeah. See, folks,
well, in the noun, this is verb, but nouns, it would just be ahava.
Folks, this is more interesting to me than anything we've discussed on the show before. I'm just, after we record this, you're gonna be like Woody for me. I'm gonna pull a little string, and hopefully you will say things back to me.
You want another random Hebrew lesson? I just happen to have this record out. Oh, not everything is directly translatable. This is a record by a Jewish Israeli group called Safam. In English, the album is called Encore, but the words in Hebrew, Od Pa'am. Od Pa'am literally means one more time.
Okay.
So,
that's interesting. No, it's always funny when you'll be listening to, I'm getting back into gaming. I've finally got a PS4 now. The PS5's been released, and there are these huge, big seminars like Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, but for Sony, and it'll be dense, fast-speaking Japanese, but then in the middle of it, they'll say the word PlayStation, and I'm like, hey, that's I recognize that one. Konnichiwa and PlayStation. I get those two.
I sometimes do this thing when I'm speaking Hebrew. If I ever forget a word or something, I'll make a long pause, and I'll just say the word in English, but with an Israeli accent. Like
Israeli accent.
אני רוצה לקנות camera stand. I don't know. So, just like
what, dude, I'm
tripod.
sure Gal Gadot has to do the same thing where she'll be talking Hebrew, but then have to say Aquaman in the middle of it.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Well, in Israel, there are a lot of people who moved to Israel from English-speaking countries. So they're you don't have to worry about going to Israel and not being able to speak. There's lots of English speakers there.
No,
nothing to worry about.
It's definitely on my to-do list. I want to see the Wailing Walls and Bridges.
Dude, it's beautiful. I just got that.
I'm sorry.
No, that was a good one. I like that one. No, really, it's definitely a place to visit. I miss it terribly. I haven't been there in a while, and I'm eager to go back so much. And actually, if you want, well, here's the white copy of the white album, one of the LPs. It's very cool. It's really beautiful. I will show
On
one quick
vinyl.
Jewish thing, and then I'm going to bring out my Sergeant Pepper box, and not the deluxe box. I'm talking about something different entirely. 1 second. I keep getting up.
L'Album Blanc. I've just done that.
Hold on. Here we go.
Oh,
This is a yarmulke kippah I bought in Israel when I was there last. Abbey Road.
no way.
I
That
still wear it. Still wear it all the time. Actually, still wear this. All
dude,
the
you should have opened with that.
time. I will
That
be
is
wearing it
awesome.
tomorrow for Shabbat, of course.
That
But
is excellent.
Anyway, Beatles keep it too. Now let me show my Sergeant Pepper box.
Oh shit, hang on. Other random Judaism question. Some sects, I believe, are not allowed to use electricity on a certain day of the week. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Yes. So what could I be the goy who turns on your record player for you, for example? Do you want me to fly over?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Actually,
yes.
yeah. Granted,
Yes.
I do celebrate Shabbat every week and I celebrate the holidays, but I do use electricity and I drive.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
That's just me. Everyone draws their line and said everyone has their own customs and what they do and what they don't do, and that's just me. There are plenty of Jews who don't, but I do. That's just how I grew up doing it. I'm still very much observant. I consider myself an observant Jew because I like to celebrate the holidays and keep I keep kosher, for example. There's still plenty I do. I've always been very comfortable with how I've observed. I'm still very culturally observant Jewish. It's just a big part of who I am. When I'm not being Vinyl Benji, I'm being Jewish Benji. Let me just put it that way.
I can't remember which British comedian said it, but it sums up my view of Catholicism. You never stop being Catholic; you just become a progressively worse Catholic. And I thought that's a nice way of putting it.
I don't like to see it that way.
Oh no, I'm talking about my experience purely. Don't.
Oh no. I mean, yeah, that's what Catholicism is a little. I don't know. There's definitely a lot with Catholicism that I'll never understand.
Oh no, just boil it down to one word: shame. It's all just shame. It's shame. And it's a shame. It really is. Come on, back on topic, folks. This is not a religion.
Yeah.
No. And now everyone. And now, folks.
So
I've got a Quaker friend who I'm going to bring on now. Come on.
So the box itself, this big box, my sister's got it for me. I had brain surgery last summer, and I'm fine now. Obviously, don't have to worry. Brain surgery last summer, and this was a little gift my sister's got me before the surgery. It's a little box, a record box with Sergeant Pepper. Now I figured I'm kind of known amongst vinyl people in the community for my weird obsession with Sergeant Pepper and the amount of copies I have.
This
And
is
perhaps-
what I want. Multiple copies. Now we're talking. Come on, kid. What do you
And
got?
perhaps I'll quickly go through them all. And then that'll be.
Can you do it in
and then
one
I've-
single breath? That's the question.
It's funny. There's a part of the book of Esther that we read on Purim that they have to say in one breath. Back to Judaism for a second. Anyway, I have 13 vinyl copies. No, 12. Only 12 right now.
Okay.
12.
Is there a 13th on the way?
I keep the CD. No, not yet. I'm trying to cool down with that too. I do have the CD box set in here as well, but I just keep it here with the rest. I remember which order I got them in. I don't keep them sorted in the order I got them, but rather just sort of the way I sort the others. US albums first, and it's in US and then international, and it's in order of when it was made. I have an original US, I believe an original US stereo, and I have an original US mono. These were both amongst my uncle's records I got after he passed.
Oh, sorry.
When I first got this one.
I'm just going to interrupt you. Why is it that some vinyl collectors, such as yourself, keep the sleeves and the vinyl not in the sleeve, but keep it in the plastic sleeve? Could you please explain that?
Well, as far as I know, there are some record sleeves are a little tight and small, and some already have rips on the seams, so they don't want to risk having the seams split. I just do that with all the records nowadays. I don't do it with all the records. It just depends on the case, and it also I have a little more room when I don't always do that. So depends on the day.
Anyway, as you were, good sir.
The next one is a mid-70s US. This was my first one because it was my mom's pressing. It was my mom's copy from when she was younger. As you can see, it still has her little name sticker on it. My mom, Randy.
We both have parents with writing on their pepper. Oh, that's great.
Right.
My brother from another
pride in
mother.
those. I love that. It provides sentimental value. Some people are like, oh no, they wrote on the record. And I just want to be like, shut the fuck up. Like, this was someone's pride and joy, and like it provides a nice story to it. I don't mind that stuff, honestly. Anyway, it's on the Apple label. My first copy. The next one, this is one I think this was like my 8th or 9th copy. This is just a random late 70s, I believe, American copy on the orange capital label.
Very nice. Oh,
Yep.
all the different labels on display. Oh, that's I love it.
Yeah, I don't. The only kind of vinyl Sgt. Pepper that I have more than one copy of is the 2014 mono.
Okay.
I have bought one separately years ago, and then I did get one with the box set.
Mhm.
But that one stays in the box set. I don't need to bring it out to show you because I'll be showing you another one in a bit. Anyway, now we're getting to the good stuff, as I like to say.
That wasn't the good stuff. Oh my god.
No, that stuff was good too, but this stuff is arguably better in a lot of ways. This is my original first press UK mono. It didn't come with the cutouts, but it came with the full sleeve.
Mhm. Yeah.
Gorgeous. Next one I got is a late 60s, early 70s UK 1 EMI box stereo. Notice 1 EMI box.
Different Parlophone label as well. Oh
Yeah. I love this one. This one's great. This was my 10th copy of Sgt. Pepper. I got it not long after my surgery. It's an Israeli pressing. This is a very special copy to me. It was, of course, my 10th copy of Sgt. Pepper, but from a country I absolutely love. This one's also on an Apple label.
Does it have within Jew, without Jew on it? I had to think of something. Oh,
or Lucy in the Sky with latkes. This one's very special because, of course, I got the story, but it's an interesting one too because it's not a gatefold.
What?
Not a gatefold, no.
Mad, absolute madness. I suppose
Well,
it's
it's interesting.
Save money. I suppose could be a cost issue.
You know what? But you know what is madness? Our
Madness.
house.
Yay! Come on, in the middle of the street, of course.
Baggy trousers. My girl's mad at me. Let's see.
Did House of Fun as well. A lot of house songs by Madness, actually.
Welcome to the House of Fun.
Now I've come of age. Yeah.
This is my most recent copy. This is the like a early 80s UK pressing. It's on 2 EMI box. The cover is not glossy, which is interesting enough. So I knew it was in 70s, but it was a 2 EMI box in the early 80s, and it was $20, so it was a steal. Like I would have stopped at 11 too, but this one was too cheap and nothing I had yet, so I figured why not.
Sometimes you're in a record shop though, and a copy of an album you already have is so cheap that it's almost rude not to buy it. I totally get that.
Oh, here's the thing interesting that happened with that copy. I got it. I didn't realize this when I first got it, but it came with a bunch of the cutouts and this copy had a US full sleeve with it and 3 cutouts, 3 of the cutout sheets, 2 US copies and a British one.
You were up
Someone just
2
must have stuffed
sheets.
someone just must have stuffed their extras in it. So I have all these extras now, just in case.
Are you able to identify whether they might be appropriate for the other ones that might not have them?
I suppose they are, honestly, but
because I just wonder, like, if the card is different from like the 60s ones.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not a paper expert, so I'd have to save that for a paper expert, I guess.
Do you have a Discogs? Are you keeping all of this tracked and logged? And
I'm still not done logging everything, but yeah, Vinyl Benji and Discogs as well. So if you add that, you could find me. I'll let you back, no problem. We'll deal with the details right afterwards. Oh, here's a 2014 mono. sounds freaking awesome.
Nice. No,
Well, the other ones in here. But this is the one I bought separately, like not long after the mono remasters came out. Nowadays these are expensive as hell, but thankfully I was able to buy it brand new back then.
Oh, dude, there's so many things that were quite. I mean, Wingspan. It was something like $20 when it came out, and now.
Oh yeah, that's expensive nowadays.
And
now that I think of it, Wingspan was the compilation that got me into McCartney. Totally forgot about that. Yeah, forgot about that.
No, I love that you would have been able to like hear deep cuts like Daytime, Nighttime Suffering as like part of your first experience. Yeah. Probably the best of the latter era B-sides, obviously twinned with Good Night Tonight. What more do you fucking want from a release? My God.
The fast remix version of No More Lonely Nights. I can wait another day until I call you. Yeah. I mean, from what I understand,
is that the player or the disco one?
The player, yeah. And from what I understand, the British version of Wingspan had the studio version of Coming Up, whereas our version had the live version.
The inferior version, we call it here, Benji. We call it that, the inferior.
I like the live version. I actually do prefer the studio version, believe it or not.
Yeah. Oh, come on. It's off McCartney too. What more do you want? You know.
I love McCartney too. You know, I love McCartney too. You
know, I love McCartney too. It was just a little album I was doing up in Scotland. You know, I didn't even want.
Have I told you about this song? Have I told you about the song that came to me in a dream?
Oh no, Paul! Please tell us. Have I ever told you that Got to Get You Into My Life? No. What's the song that he said John loved? And he says he talked about it on the Alps, but the dates don't line up. Oh no.
Oh, Tomorrow Never Knows.
No, that's
Here, There, and Everywhere.
Here, There, and Everywhere. That's it. Yeah.
Right.
That's up there with the Jimi Hendrix Story in the top 10 things that probably didn't happen, but we'll let Paul get away with it, you know.
The next one is just the picture disc from the 2017 remix.
Oh, picture discs, another money sink, another one. I've got to get the Good Night Tonight one. I let that one slip through my fingers as well.
Yeah, I just got this one too.
Oh, bloody hell. This is just self-flagellation. This is a very Catholic show, actually. This is me looking at things I cannot have and then having to be fine with it. I've just realized that.
And this is just the remix, the single LP remix one. I just got it. This was cheap. I got it on Amazon. Yeah. And awesome. And I showed everything besides the second 2014 mono I have. Those are all the Sgt. Peppers. I have the CD box set as well. Where'd it go? Hold on. Where'd that box go? I was just showing my Sgt. Pepper box, not the box set, the tin box.
The one after you said it. Where have it's massive. How have you? Oy vey! Oh my gosh!
It was just right here. I swear.
You're such a klutz.
Just right here. I know. Tell me something I don't know. It just I keep some rare CDs in there, and one here it is. It's on the floor. It just so happens that this box it had a Sgt. Pepper puzzle in it, and we eventually threw out the puzzle pieces for some reason. But I do have the box. It's great.
Threw out the puzzle pieces.
Oh. Yeah, my mom was on cleaning mode. She just wanted.
That's Meshuggah. Oh my god.
It is. Yeah, it is. I do have this copy of the Abbey Road CD. It's one of the very first Beatles CDs ever. It was a flat transfer for the master tape. It's a very, very great.
Wait, is that the one that came out before the 93 pressings? Yeah. And I think it was available in Japan first or something like that. Yeah. That honestly,
this was my uncle's too, so I didn't have to pay anything for it.
That's deceptively cool as well. It really is.
Yeah. That's there's some other stuff in there, but yeah, that's my Sgt. Peppers, and this is the other box. Oh.
My God,
is there anything else I should show you while I'm here? I could go.
I think you've really exhausted me here. Oh my God.
Oh, that's my bad, dude.
No, I can't take any more heartbreak. I really can't.
Let me just show you one more quick thing, and I promise I'm done. I will show you that Israeli copy of Magical Mystery Tour I was mentioning before.
You're really making me schwitz over here. Oh.
Here we go. It's interesting because it's a slightly different cover.
Oh, wow. I love the green on that. That's gorgeous.
Too. I think it's fantastic.
And it's the proper one. It's not got that purple bar that covers the booklet.
There's no booklet. It's like the other Israeli pressing I was showing you. It's a single opening. There's no opening, no booklet, no nothing.
Wait, does it say there's a booklet on the front though?
No.
Oh,
It doesn't.
Okay, good. Because I'm pretty sure there is one pressing out there that still says it's got the booklet and there is no booklet.
Perhaps it is, but not this one. No, this is like a mid-70s, I think. Yeah.
I'm feeling so verklempt right now. Oh my gosh. I totally don't have a phrase book just on the other tab, just to the left or anything. You know what, dude? You've shown me more than I ever could have asked there.
And that's why I just got so excited. It was hard to stick to just 5. That's not bad, dude.
No, come on. But like when you find the same kind of nerd as you, it's very hard not to go overboard. Like I have a poor customer who once mentioned to me that he likes the Beatles and like he watches Joe Mayo and Beatle Brad on YouTube and stuff. And now like I can tell that he almost like sometimes when he wants a quiet drink in my pub on his own, he might just like go to one of the other servers intentionally because I'm probably just going to assault him with, "Oh my God, have you got the new revolver box?" And he's just like, "I just want an IPA in peace." I'm like, no worries. Everyone, I've been kindly joined by one of my new favorite people on the internet, Vinyl Benji. Oh no, I'm smitten with you, my friend. I really am. This has been an absolutely fantastic episode of Macca in Your Attic.
The feeling is mutual, Sam. You're a great dude. And I definitely look forward to keeping in touch, and perhaps one day I'll be a recurring guest in the podcast.
No, I'm just going to use you and Skylar Moody to artificially boost my presence on TikTok. That's the entire goal here.
I'd be honored.
Oh no, honestly, dude, this has been an absolute joy. I love that conversation, and I love all of your items as well. So many of them touched me in a wonderful way. Thank you so much for coming on, folks. This has been another episode of Macca in Your Attic, where me and my guest Vinyl Benji, links to his page down below and to his TikTok as well. Send me the master recording. Thank you, everyone. This has been an absolute blast. A much longer episode than normal, but when have I ever stuck to a time limit? Peace and love, peace and love. No more autographs. Hari Krishna.
Play
us out, Denny.
Excellent.